Show them who we are.
Show them who we are. Show them who we are. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, your main man, Chi, with this movie review for Wakanda Forever. I went to see it Thursday. For those that seen the video, the reaction video, my instant reaction video, y'all know I went to see it Thursday. I took me and my daughter went to go see it. This is not a reaction, but more of a review, okay? And for those that are wondering, as I've stated in that reaction video, there are two versions of this reaction or this review. This one is the spoiler-free edition for Wakanda Forever. And then Tuesday will be the spoiler edition. Okay? So I'm giving y'all time to go watch the movie because on Tuesday, the spoiler edition will be out. Okay? So I'm letting y'all know right now. Like I said in the reaction video, I definitely cried throughout the whole movie. The first 5 minutes, I was shedding tears. The way they incorporated real life, real events, that's what caught my attention. That's what had me emotional, because they did tell what happened to Black Panther, what happened to T'Challa. That was something that I've always, if you remember in the review of the trailers, I always wondered, how are they going to tell the story of what happened to T'Challa? How are you going to tell what happened? And they did. And they used real events. They played on, and I don't mean to use that, I'm not saying it in a derogatory way, but they played on what happened to Chadwick. Illness. So they played that. I said it. Angela Bassett, Queen Mother, she was the heart and soul of this movie. I mean, just the way, in my opinion, the way she went about dealing with this, dealing with being now the queen of Wakanda and dealing with the death of her son and the former king of Wakanda. But as I said in the reaction video, you are seeing stages of grief through Shuri. You are seeing those stages, not all the stages of grief, but you do see certain stages. Like you see the not trying to accept, not trying to accept it, anger. There is a cameo. There is a cameo in there. The biggest shocker of them all was the cameo. I loved Okoye. Each person in this movie had significance in it. I mean, we all know General. We all knew how Okoye was when it came to T'Challa, and you see that in this movie. You see, because of his death, the friction and the tension that it causes in certain parts of the movie. M'Baku was a character that I loved. I loved him in the first one, but this one I loved him more because he was, he's taken a different position. Like, he came in and was like, okay, this is the position that I'm in now. This is where I stand now. I have to stand with my people, even though we've been in the mountains for decades. We've been in the mountains, but now we have to come down and be one with the people. And that's something that T'Challa and during Black Panther was doing. He wanted to bring the Jabari tribe down to be more a part of the Wakanda nation. So you see more of that in this one. Nikita, she killed that role. She killed the role. She utilized her skills in that movie. Her interaction with Queen Mother was important, to my opinion. But let's talk about Namor. Very similar characteristics of someone else. Very much similar to a Killmonger in the sense of trying to protect his people. I loved his character because his character he stood for the people. He stood for his people. And as I was watching this, I don't know if anybody else was getting the feel for it, but it really made me anticipate Avatar because of Namor and his people. It really made me sit there and be like, you know what? Even though, like, it's not Avatar, but it makes me think of Avatar just because, they're, blue people underwater, they're water people, they're, they have a beautiful, beautiful land under the sea, like beautiful. Just think of Wakanda just undersea. And that's what it was. Ryan Coogler did a good job at telling certain stories in this movie that is very much related to events that are going on in the world today. There's a post-credit scene. There's a mid-post-credit scene that is going to surprise and shock the hell out of everyone. I mean, me and my daughter was sitting there, and when it happened, I was like, oh shit. Like, oh shit. And then, my brother went to see it last night, and when I spoke to him, he told me another thing, and I was like, no fucking way. And he's like, no, like I think so. Or he said, no, that is so I have to do my little due diligence, do my research. So in the spoiler edition, you're gonna hear more about what I'm talking about. But overall, man, the movie was good. I do know one of the people that I follow, Tyrone Magnus, he wasn't a big fan of it. He said he fell asleep at it too. Like that kind of threw me off for him to say he fell asleep. It's 2 hours and 41 minutes long, but in all actuality, I watched that and I was in it. I was invested. I didn't get tired. Does it have some moments of like, like, does it have any dead moments, like silent moments? I would use that term. Yes, but it's good in my opinion. I say that because when I think about this movie and the impact that it has and what this movie is supposed to represent, you know, we all know that one of the key questions that a lot of people had is, how are you going to tell the story? Or how would Black Panther 2 be now? Because now, okay, we have to now we got to bring it into like the MCU world. We need to bring it into that. And how can we do that before Chadwick passed? And then when Chadwick passed, it's like, okay, how are we definitely going to do this? I think that this was in honor of him. Kind of like how Fast and Furious Fast 7 was in honor of Paul. I think that this was in honor of, or it was in honor of Chadwick. You know, they did a lot. They did a lot of references. At the end, they do something for him at the end. They did something for him in the beginning. They did something for him in the end. In between the movie, you're hearing references of him. The one that stood out to me, the one quote that stood out to me in this movie was when Okoye and Nikita were talking. And Okoye is like, you know, it hurt me that you weren't here after, or, you know, when Thanos was here. Like, you left. And she said, you know, they brought up T'Challa, and Nakia said he was the king, and he was your king. He was your Black Panther. He was my everything. Lost it. I lost it, because as Winston Duke M'Baku said, every time they referenced Chadwick, it was emotional. And as I said in my reaction, every time they mentioned his name, I got emotional, because I'm like, yo, I really can't believe that this man is not here no more. But as I said, this was I said it, I posted, you know, Chadwick would be proud of this movie. The premise of the movie, they do have basically what Wakanda thought is not actually there. I mean, not actually there. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. What the resource, the source of Wakanda, we all know is vibranium. Ever since, you know, we all know the world wanted this source. They wanted this power. And they thought that it was only located in Wakanda. They were sadly mistaken. So that's why that's kind of like what a subplot to this. And then that's when Namor comes into play. And it was just an interesting, this reaction or this review is like the review that I really just am like, yo, this is just what it is. But the spoiler review is, I can get more in depth with the spoiler review, because the spoiler edition, I'm telling it all. I'm going to give you every ounce, and it will make more sense. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. I was telling my mom yesterday, we're going to see it Sunday. I told y'all in the reaction video, I was taking my mom on Sunday to see it. I told her, like, I want the movie to come out now. Like, I want the Blu-ray. now. I want the 4K, ultra 4K now. Like, I need it now. I am not retracting my statement when I said this was probably my favorite superhero movie of 2022. I'm not retracting my statement when I say that it is probably my top 3 Marvel movies. Top 5. I'll say top 5, but it's not 4 or 5, so it's in the top 3. Marvel movies. It did its justice. It paid its respect to its king. Long live this man. Long live Chadwick. Ryan Coogler, you did a phenomenal job. My brother was like, this is what DC needs. I'm not going to say that's what DC needs because it's different. It was different because that was like a family atmosphere, when they did Wakanda, when they did Black Panther, and when they did Wakanda Forever. Do I think this is the end for Black Panther? No. I don't think this is the end. I do feel that this might be the end for that group. You got to remember, multiverse, different variants of T'Challa. So we could see a different variant of T'Challa. But if they said, okay, if the cast said, okay, we don't want to do another Black Panther, I'll be fine with it. Because I can only imagine how hard it was for them to shoot this movie without Chadwick there. So imagine them moving forward, and then you bring a variant of T'Challa. They won't be able to accept that. And I understand that. So that's why I'm saying that this might be the end of Black Panther for this particular group. We may turn around and see a different variant of T'Challa, Okoye, Queen Mother, Shuri, M'Baku, all of them. We could. They did leave a little breadcrumb as far as the possibility of a second one or a third Black Panther because of the relationship between Namor's people and the Wakandas. So that's just had to wait and see. But like I said, out of 5, give it a 4. It's not a 5. But I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. A 4 out of 5. I think that is the only time in my recent memory of doing movie reviews that I have given a movie a 4 out of 5. If I did the Batman review, that would probably be the second one I gave a 4 out of 5 to. Throwing it out there. Okay. So, if you like this review, make sure you hit the like button. If you are new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And if you aren't new to this channel and you already subscribed, but you haven't been getting notified, make sure you hit that notification bell at the top to keep you updated of when I am dropping videos. Share this video. I know this movie is going to be talked about for weeks, if not months from now. And if you want to call back to this video, go back to the review. But I know more people want to know or want to see the spoiler one. Don't worry. it's here.